Hello everybody and welcome to Juno New Origins, which is slightly awkward here. Apparently there's no main menu screen in this game. Okay, we're going to be doing a career game of this, and I do want to say I was intending to do this after we did the wrap-up of KSP2, but this is just the way the timing worked out. It's going to have a little bit of overlap, and that's okay. I guess it'll allow us to compare and contrast. So we're going to be doing a default career mode. Apparently there's default and hybrid. For now, we're just going to be going with the default career mode with Atraitus Exploration Company. Fantastic. So let's start a new game here. Congratulations on starting your own aerospace company. It's a tough business, but with my connections, I can help you succeed. Please allow me to introduce myself. I am Algernon Fizzlebottom. Wonderful. Okay. I've recently inherited my grandfather's research company, and I own many technology patents. I don't have time to chase the stars myself, so I've decided to offer incentives to new aerospace companies to help them get started. Let's go to the tech tree and see what I can offer. Okay, that's closing the tutorial. No, let's not do that for now. Let's head into the tech tree. Welcome to the tech tree. Click on the Druidman side to see what technologies it contains, then click Unlock. This one won't cost any tech points, so it's a great bargain. Okay, so this is the Druidman side. Oh my, okay. So we can unlock this, a mysterious being that resembles an Earthling. They can be a bit fragile, but are great at exploring and piloting. So this is your crew. Okay, so we can do that, but then crew limit. The max amount of druids that can be hired in the current sandbox, which is 2. Okay, so we need to unlock this. Cool. Fantastic. Now unlock Common Ground. Okay, so this is very similar in size to the KSP tech tree. Okay, gotcha. So Common Ground is next. So this gives us a label, displays text for labeling stuff or whatever. Fair enough. And then this is attached to our craft to add new views that you can cycle through during flight. Oh, so we actually have to attach cameras to it. Ooh, that should be interesting. Let's unlock this. There we go. Now it's up to you to choose your path. Do you want to start with Backyard Scientist and build rockets, or start with RC Enthusiast and build cars and planes? You only have enough tech points for one, for now, so choose wisely. So, obviously, we want to go the rocket route, right? We're viewing this as a potential KSP replacement, so let's go with Backyard Scientist. Let's see. So this will give us Command Disc Gyro, so this will give us gyroscopes. They can be slow and expensive. Noted. This will also give us fuel type solid, the Goblin solid motor, so we're just going to have SRBs, and wing sections for rockets, and new contracts. Okay, let's unlock this. Fantastic. You don't have access to any more technologies for now, so let me show you how to get more tech points. Click the back button at the top left to exit the tech tree. Okay. Open the career dialog. Cool. This is where you'll find contracts. By completing them, you'll get money necessary to launch new crafts and better launch locations. You can see your currently available funds at the top of the screen, so that would be 5K. Excellent. Click on the Milestones tab. In order to use my patents, I need you to prove that you deserve it. For this, I've set up these milestones. By reaching them, you'll earn tech points, which you can use to unlock new technology in the tech tree. You can see how many tech points you have at the top of the screen. So that is 0. Excellent. Click on the Exploration tab. Okay, so we can see we have Volco, Sergia, Drew, which has Brigo, Luna, and TT around it. We have Celero, which has Niobe, and Herma, Handrew's Comet, Titos, Nebra, Miros, Orcos, Eurados. Okay, so this is very similar to the Sol system, but it's not quite identical. Like, for example, Brigo, which I think is a Minmus analog, but there's also TT here. Okay, so we need to click on Drew. Here are the landmarks you can visit and additional milestones you can do in each celestial body. You can click them to see more details. So this is very much more exploration focused. Okay. So these are various milestones here. Okay. So we would need to visit all of these landmarks in order to get tech points. Okay. Sounds good. Select the vertical shot contract. Sure. This is no further than 20 kilometers, but no closer than 500 meters from the launch pad. Launch a new craft, launch from the village launch pad, be under a kilometer from the ground, get your rocket's acceleration over 10 meters per second squared, reach 25 kilometers above sea level, and crash at least 500 meters away from the village. Okay. I highly recommend doing the tutorial for this contract. Yeah, there we go. I guess we have to do this first. Otherwise, you can click build in the bottom left to enter the designer to start building your own craft. Well, okay, I guess we enter build. Camera and mouse controls are fully customizable in the game settings. Okay, so what is this? This is a command disc, apparently. Cool. So we need to keep rotating, sure. Right-clicking around and dragging, sure. That's panning it around. That's our command pod, apparently. And we want to add a fuel tank below the command disc. Cool. So the part list is out over here. Gotcha. So this is under structural, and that's a fuel tank. Fuel tanks are under structure. That's interesting. Well, we can definitely put a fuel tank in here, so we need to drag it. Ah, I see. Okay. Resize it to match the desired size, which is flashing green. That is large. Okay. Now we can add a nose cone to help reduce drag. Yes. Right. Click and drag. And then we can match the desired size of the nose cone. Interesting. And then an engine. So this is a Goblin solid motor. So the solid rocket motor and the solid fuel are different things in this game. Noted. It's a little on the small side, and then we would need to add a fin. That is going to be very interesting aerodynamically. Okay. Well, we put this right about there, and we need to resize it. Okay, so that would be... That is not what I wanted to grab. Okay. That's exciting. Well, we want to resize this guy up this way a bit, if we can. To be something like this. This one up here doesn't seem to want to move. Oh, right-clicking it duplicates it. That's a sub-assembly. How do I get rid of this? Ah, up here. Okay, perfect. So we've already messed this up a little bit, but let's just replace this about here-ish. No, that is a terrible angle. Okay. Right. Now we need to resize the wing to the matching size. I see. So we wanted to attach this over here, like that, and then resize it to the desired size. Gotcha. So something kind of like that. Now we can enable symmetry mode. Okay, so that is over here. Symmetry is currently disabled for this part. Oh, I see. Interesting. We want radial 4? So we can do that in post, after we put the part on. That's neat. Now close the symmetry panel. Okay. Enable the gyro on the command disk. So the part properties panel. Gotcha. Change the volume to 25%. Okay, so I'm just looking at the price here. Noted. Volume for battery and volume for gyro. Fascinating. That's pretty neat. So this is our first rocket, and we're going to launch this. This is probably going to go badly. So we want to launch this from the village pad. This is going to be $113 to launch. Sounds good. Creating all of the planets? Interesting. I'm surprised that they would do this now rather than doing this in the background on a different thread while we're at the launch pad. But okay. Oh, this is an interesting launch pad for sure. Whoa, this is a very floaty rotation. Very, very floaty. Okay, that is certainly noted. I'm just trying to get some bearings on where exactly we are. So this is very mountainous, no doubt about that. We can zoom all the way out to space. Amazing. So this appears to be fairly polar. And we click this to recenter our camera, and back in we go. Okay, that's pretty neat. I do like that zoom level. You can really zoom nicely. I don't know so much about the floaty rotation. Maybe I would get used to that. It's very, very floaty. Oh, that changes our heading and our pitch. Okay, right. This does work differently than in KSP. So we need to press space to activate our first stage, and we won't be able to stop it or adjust its power. That is fine. I think all we got to do is go literally straight up here. So let's do exactly that. I don't want to change our heading or our pitch right now. We're waiting for our engine to ramp up, and off we go. This is our main dashboard. Yep. We can change between at ground level and at sea level altitudes. Yeah, that's fine. And we do want to show the nav ball for sure. We can see the prograde marker is exactly where we'd expect it to be. No, I don't actually want to do that. We want the nav sphere panel. Okay. What does this do? Surface and orbital speed. Ah, this allows us to lock to prograde, retrograde. This is north, east, south, west. Fascinating. And up, down. This is hiding the nav sphere and locking the current heading. Okay. Sounds good. As you change modes, you can see the green arrow in the nav sphere move around. Yep, that is because we're in the different frames of reference. Sounds good. Wants us to set our pitch to 70 degrees. Okay. And then use the nav sphere to change the rocket's heading to try to steer it in a direction. Oh, now it wants us to move it back to 90. Okay. Yep, the nav ball. I understand how the nav ball works. That seems good. Cool. Switch to map mode. Does the M key work? No, in the tech tree. Okay, but it will eventually. You also have a map to find where you are. Yeah, so this is basically... Gotcha. I prefer the nav ball. At least is what I'm used to for now. We'll see what that ends up looking like. So we need to go up to 25 kilometers. The real question here is, are we going to pick up velocity from the planet rotating beneath us? Is that going to give us the 5 kilometers, or rather the 500 meters that we need? Probably is my guess. Now, of course, this is just a sounding rocket here, and it is going to not make it to orbit at this heading for sure. We can also see there's our time acceleration controls up over here, noted. And we need to crash a ways away from the village. I'm going to pitch us over. Okay. The reason I wanted to pitch us over is to steer a bit here. Although I don't know if these fins here... Oh, I keep trying to move it like it's KSP. This is not KSP. I'm not sure if these fins are actually control surfaces, but we do appear to be able to turn this somewhat. We definitely got pretty high up here. We are... What is our current altitude? 60 kilometers? Okay. I'm assuming this is probably not super Kerbal in terms of its sizing, but probably more realistic. But I don't know that for a fact. This is 70 kilometers here. In KSP, this would be in space. I'm not sure what our atmosphere is at this moment. We can see that we have no fuel, though, and we want to crash at least 500 meters away from the village. That is definitely cruising upward, and that's exactly what we want to see. Cool. So we exceeded 80 kilometers. Now, in reality, the sort of edge of space is kind of fuzzy. There's not a lot of consensus entirely on where exactly it is. There's a lot of different ideas. A good rule of thumb is somewhere around 100 kilometers, though. So I'm not sure that we're going to reach that. We can see our surface speed is going down. I want to check our orbital velocity. And then that's our target velocity. Okay, no problem. This is making a lot of sense. And time to touch down. No need to survive this one. Yeah. So we're going to start going down very shortly. Here you can see our nose is getting ready to pitch down, I think, based on what we're seeing here. I think that's actually our direction of velocity. Yeah. That's our direction of velocity. Wow, that gyroscope is powerful. Okay, that is noted. Cool. So we're just going to start dropping all the way down, and at this point, I'm interested in warping forward a bit Okay, so this is 10x. But we just dropped out of warp. Craft is on a course to enter atmosphere. Okay, so the warp can only be enabled when the craft is grounded or outside the atmosphere. So we can only go to 2x in atmosphere. Noted. I keep trying to do that, but it doesn't work. That's going to be a continuous thing for a while here. So, of course, we had very little to do with this mission. It very much held our hand, but that's definitely interesting. No doubt about that. What is this bar? It's not quite full. That's intriguing. Well, we're just going to get a lot of speed here, and we're going to be impacting shortly, which is obviously expected. Downward we go, and Kerr splat. There we go. Cool. So contract completed. We'll end that flight, and I guess we'll recover the craft. It cannot be recovered because it's destroyed. Yes. Save it. Perfect. That'll be fine. Okay, so that all looks good. I am noticing that it sounds like the music might be a little on the loud side. I don't see any audio settings here. Audio. Here we go. Let's bump this down to like 40%. There we go. That'll work. Cool. So at this point, this site was completed, and that's fine. So let's head into, well, we got 70 tech points out of that, but let's head into our career here. We have a new customer, Buck Marshall. We probably should have looked at this earlier. He is the mayor of the Juno village. Okay, cool. And we've got this flight termination system. So we need to reach 30 kilometers above ground level, and then we need to blow it up before it goes too low. Sounds good. That's easy enough to do. So we need to select our command disk and blow up the craft before it goes too low. So we can use this same exact craft for that. Let's head into the tech tree first and see what we want to have done here. Okay, so there's a number of potential options here. So this is going down a crew path. For the time being, we may not want to do that. So check your staging, giving us access to different stages, interstaging, and new contracts availability. Okay, this is shoots. I mean, that'll be useful. And this is giving us liquid fuel, Carolox. Yeah, okay. That seems pretty decent. We'll grab that for now. I'm also going to grab check your staging. There we go. So that seems good for the moment. And let's hop out of here. Cool. So now we need to launch the vertical shot tutorial craft again, because we need to do a flight termination of it. So yes, we are ready to launch this on the Juno village pad. And we are going to want to select our part here. So I want to figure out how we do that before we launch this. Flight info panel, flight log panel. Okay. I'm assuming we don't do it by right-clicking the part. So this is our camera view here. Sure. Space aligned, chase view, 2D view, flyby cinematic, flyby stationary, and camera parts. Okay. This is a map view, and this is a menu. So how do we access these parts? In here? This is our staging. That would make sense. Input slider. Okay. For the moment, I'm not too concerned about that. I want to figure out how we actually select this part. That would be activation panel. No activation groups. Oh, we just left click on it. Okay, so then this is the flight termination? Yeah, that's the flight termination button. So we just pin this guy open then, and off we go. I'm still not clear on what this bar is here. This kind of yellowish green bar. I'm not sure which. I'm colorblind. It's one of those. I'm not entirely sure what that does. It definitely changed in the previous flight, but we'll see. Okay, so we're able to see our temperature in here. We're able to see the estimated drag force, which the drag is now going down, so we are... Okay, now it's going up again. Now it's going down. Now it's going up. So it seems to oscillate a bit. Noted. We're likely past max Q at this point. We're almost out of fuel for this thing. We just need to get it up above 30 kilometers here. Okay. We've reached the necessary altitude. You can select a fuel tank by clicking on it. So it wants us to select the fuel tank and blow this up. Interesting. I was under the impression the contract wanted us to do it from the command disk, but the tutorial told us to do it from here. So I'm going to do it from here. Okay. There we go. Cool. Apparently that counts. Well, at this point, the question is, how do we just end the flight? And save flight. No, I don't think we need to do that. Yeah, just do it like this, I guess. That'll work. So that completes that contract. Beautiful. So next up is going high, and this contract has a tutorial, and this one does not. So this is crash at least 30 kilometers away from the village. That one's easy enough to do. Unlock novice managers to increase the max number of available contracts. I'm not sure how necessary that really is. So this can no longer be accepted after 30 days. These two don't time out. This one does. Okay. Go higher than 10 kilometers. Make sure the explosion has more than 3162 boom power. That's interesting. So we got liquid-fueled engines. Let's accept this. And now I want to launch this again. Let's put this out on the pad. And the question is, how much boom power do we have with this full? I don't think we should do this. I think we should go into the build system here. And we should start over. How do we do a new craft? Here we go, new craft. So this guy here is our command disk. We can change the size of it to like whatever we want. But I want to add in a fuel tank here. Okay, and then the question is, how much fuel do we want this to be? Well, the fuel type is currently none. So we're going to need to put in a liquid-fueled engine, 30K. Mass and price vary with size. Okay. This is very expensive. This is very, very expensive. Noted that liquid fuel is incredibly costly. So in that case, let's get out of here. Let's exit this designer. I don't actually want this. Apparently we didn't save our previous craft. Okay, so we're going to need to swap this over to being a solid fueled engine, for sure. We definitely want this to be solid fuel. Now, this is definitely not going to have a good thrust to weight. Do we see the thrust to weight ratio here? Yes. Okay, so that is fine. I want to change the overall size of this rocket down a bit. There we go. That's a 1.66 thrust to weight. That's much better. We should probably put in an aerodynamic nose cone, and we could have 4 additional fins on here. Something like this is probably reasonably fine. And then we would make this be symmetrical in 4x. There we go. So this is a very similar craft to what we had before. But what I'm wondering right now, explosive power of 4969. Okay. We'll see if this is enough. That's not enough thrust to weight. Okay. I want to change the overall length of this fuel tank, I feel like. Something like this. 1.24. That's very low thrust to weight, but we don't actually need to get all that high up. So something along the lines of that. Now, I do still want an aerodynamic nose cone. What was that under? It was not under aeronautics. It was under one of these. Structural. Okay. So that's fine. We can just leave it like this. This looks good. So it would be like this, and then the question is, the boom power here is 6709. Okay. I don't know if this would actually be enough. And this is going to be kind of expensive to launch. But we only need to get up 10 kilometers. But our thrust to weight is going to be very, very low. Can we put multiple of these engines on? Let's go like this, and then go into the symmetry tool. Something kind of like that. I want a much higher thrust to weight. And make this rocket a little bit bigger like this. That is a 1.35 thrust to weight. 2.28. That seems fine. And at this point, I would like to simply pull these out. Yeah, about like that. This is going to be a wacky looking rocket, but we're angling to have enough boom power once we get up high enough, right? So something like this would be what we would look to do. So that seems relatively fine. We would exit this designer, and we would now launch this guy. All we got to do is... We don't need to give this a flight name, I don't think. All we need to do is get this up 10 kilometers and explode it. So I'm going to pin this guy open. We're going to watch our explosive power here. Okay, I don't care about our heading. I want our heading to be at 90. Okay. Let's go. I don't know if we'll have enough boom power. We'll find out. We're at 2 kilometers right now. We need to get a lot more speed. 3 kilometers. 4. We're at 5 kilometers. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10 kilometers. Boom. Okay, we did it. Fantastic. We'll recover that craft. I mean, we're not going to recover it. It went boom. But that is a great start. We got a number of contracts completed. I like it. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to continue working with this. So far, I'm finding a lot to like about this game. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.